What up? I'm B, and welcome to my channel where we talk about all things true crime and current events. Today it is Sunday, which means that another week of drama has come to an end, and there's sure to be more and more in the upcoming weeks, so we're just going to go over a few things that happened this week, maybe some things you may have missed, definitely one thing that you didn't miss, and we're just going to talk about them. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, the first thing that happened this week, the launch of the Conspiracy Palette. The whole collection, Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, all of that, it launched on Friday and it was chaos. So, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, launched. My personal experience was I was at work, so it was kind of a busy day and I had to kind of strategically decide when I was going to be able to go out and actually try and get on the website and everything. So 10 a.m. hits, I can't quite get there, can't quite get to the site, and then at 10:04 I went to Jeffree Star's website to try, and the Jeffree Star Cosmetics website, to try and check it out and get what I wanted. I just wanted the palette. I don't do a ton of makeup, so I wasn't interested in getting the whole thing, but I was like, I want the palette, it looks cool. Let me see if I can get it. And 4 minutes into the launch, the entire site was shut down. So it was looks like we're getting errors. A lot of people got the same little screen that said to check back in 5 to 10 minutes, refresh, see what you can do, whatever. And so at that point I was like, okay, well I can't get it now, it's down, let me try later. At about 10:30, because I'm in the same time zone, I'm in Arizona, so same time zone as California right now. About 10:30, I went and I was looking on Twitter to see if there was anything posted, if it was back up, whatever. And I remembered that Morphe had it, so I was like, let me see if Morphe has it, if I can check out there. Went to Morphe, their site was up. They still had pretty much everything that you could purchase, so I put it in the palette in my cart and went to check out. Like many of you, if you tried to get it, I was put into kind of an online queue, which is where they're processing people who were before you, getting their orders taken care of, payment information, all that, and then once their server can handle it, you get to go. And I was in that for roughly 40 minutes, and then finally the page changed and I thought that I was going to get to check out, but it turns out that it was sold out. So, very sad. My heart was racing. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually going to get it. I'm so excited, and I did not. And it seems like this was a similar experience for a lot of people. They were waiting in line, they thought they had it, it was in their bag, it was in their cart, whatever, and then it got sold out before they had the opportunity to check out and put in all their information. So a lot of people were upset, a lot of people were understanding, a lot of people were really excited because Shane was so concerned about if it was going to sell out, if people were going to even want it. So it's big, and I don't think anyone expected it not to be. But a lot of people were mad at Shopify, which is the e-commerce, the checkout technology, whatever. They're behind Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and supposedly Shopify is what crashed, which is why Jeffree Star's site was down for so long. And I'm thinking about it, because you can't be mad at Jeffree and Shane for that. They're not tech support, they're not IT. That's not their job. Shopify, they're the ones who are behind it, they're backing this, so they should be able to prepare for the flood of people that are coming in. And what I think would have been a cool idea is, because Shane can say oh, I don't know if people are gonna sell it, maybe he doesn't realize what an influence he has, but people are going to buy it. People obviously are gonna buy it. I'm gonna go back after it gets restocked and I'm gonna get it just because I think it's such a cool palette and I want it. So people are obviously gonna get it. And instead of releasing it all at once to the entire public, because that it's going to crash, it's historical. When you put two influencers together like this, when you combine them for something, people are going to want it, they're going to go to the site, it's going to crash, it's going to be chaos. That's just what's going to happen. So I think what would have been really cool, and a way to make sure that not everybody could get it, but the majority of people could get it, is if they had done kind of timed releases. Instead of releasing it to the public, anyone can get it. If you're there, you can get your hands on it, which a lot of people who were there couldn't get their hands on it. Instead of doing that, if they had done like stages of releases, so maybe you have people who are like subscribed to Jeffree Star's newsletter, maybe they get a special code that allows them a certain amount of time, before the general launch to go on and get products, and you put a limit on how many products they can get, because I've already seen people selling these products for thousands of dollars, and it's ridiculous. Like, please don't do that. Please, first of all, don't be mean and get things that you don't want just because you think you can sell them, because that's rude. And two, don't buy those. I know so many people already know, like, not to do it, but don't be that one person who actually buys it, because they're gonna restock it. So just wait. I know you want to have it now, but just give it a second. But so, they put the limit on it. They say, two of each item per person, whatever, and they let people on Jeffree Star's mailing list get it. And then maybe they do a second release, like a second stage of it, which is if you're on the Morphe subscriber list, then you get access a few hours later or a day later or whatever, and you get that special code, like special link, whatever, and you get your chance to buy it. And then maybe they release it to the general public, or you sign up for a special list or whatever, but just so that way you have controlled access and it's going in groups. It's not just like a mass free-for-all. It's just these smaller, more easily controlled groups. I don't know. I think that would be cool. That's just my idea. I don't know if that works. I don't know how that would work, but that's just something that I think would be super helpful, because it was chaos. It was madness. Like, even though it was mostly online, like people purchasing it online, they did have it in Morphe stores, and it seems like a lot of those people were able to have a good experience. But I don't know if that's a possibility. Maybe people should consider that for releases that are going to be of the same magnitude as the Jeffree Star Shane Dawson collaboration. The second thing that happened that I thought was really interesting, and I'm always cautious to talk about this, not just in like the YouTube space or social media space, but even in like my own life, it's weird to talk about, is body positivity. So Cassie Ho from Blogilates, she posted a video about kind of diving into body positivity and seeing what its origins were, what it's really about, like why this has picked up so much steam, and just kind of looking into body positivity, fat acceptance, everything as a whole. Back in August, she had posted about how she was going on a 90-day kind of body transformation challenge. She wanted to see if she could get down to the body fat percentage of a professional athlete, and she wanted to do it in ways that were fun, like doing dance workouts and just kind of branching out of what she typically does. And that sounds like a super cool thing, but she got a lot of hate because, as she said in her video, she's like, I kind of unknowingly or without consent was made somewhat of like a social media influencer, public figure, public representation of body positivity, because I don't have a perfect body, but I focus on health and workouts and I take care of myself. So she didn't make herself the spokesperson for that, but a lot of people and publications were using her in connection with body positivity. And so when she posted about this 90-day challenge, people were mad. She got so many comments telling her that she was mentally ill, that she was a traitor to the body positivity movement, that she had body dysphoria. Yeah, that she had body dysmorphia. Like, just people being so rude to her and not supporting her and unsubscribing to her and all of that. And it's crazy to me because, one, she didn't ask to be involved in this movement, and two, I think the body positivity movement, the fat acceptance movement, whatever you want to call it, has really gotten out of hand. And I don't mean that I don't support body positivity. I don't support people loving the skin they're in. I think that people, I'm trying to word this in a way that's not confusing. People should be accepted for who they are. People should be able to love themselves for who they are and how they look, and they should not feel societal pressure to fit into a perfect mold of a, 5'8", size 2, whatever. Like, every body is different, and that's just how it is, and there shouldn't be any shame with that. But I think what started as something that was really cool and really helpful has been transformed over time and been corrupted into, I'm going to eat what I want, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to do whatever I want and potentially be at an unhealthy weight and be damaging to my own health. And that's okay for me, and I can do what I want, and everybody else should subscribe to it. And if you're overweight and you're saying that you want to make a change to be healthier, to lose weight, to fit a certain vision of how you want to look, whatever it may be, then you do not love yourself. Then you are damaging, then you are a bad person. And I don't like that. I don't support that. I think that it is 1000% possible to say, I love myself, I love my body, I appreciate my body, but there's some things that I'd like to change, or I'd like to lose some weight, or I'd like to be able to run for exercise, or I'd like to be able to run around and play with my kids and not be out of breath. There's so many reasons behind not wanting to be overweight. And I don't think that means that you are betraying yourself, that you're betraying other people, that you're betraying your community. It's just your own personal choice. And I think there is a place for body positivity, body acceptance. Someone who I think emulates this so well is Carrie Dayton. She has posted a lot of videos about kind of her transformation of body acceptance, because she used to be extremely thin, very conscious about her weight and how she looked. And even when she was at the thinnest she's ever been, she felt so self-conscious, and she didn't like the way, if you looked at her, most people would be like, objectively, oh my God, that's the standard of a perfect body. And she didn't feel good. And so she released the focus on that, and she kind of focused on loving herself and the body that she was in and her heart and her soul, instead of focusing so much on societal expectations of what a beautiful person is. And throughout this time, she has gone on and done a bunch of videos, which are super fun to watch, of how does a size 12 fit me at this store, or a size 14 at this store, or trying out a bunch of different pairs of jeans at the same store and seeing how the discrepancy in sizing. And that's a really cool thing to say. Don't focus on numbers, don't focus on what size your jeans are, that tag doesn't define you. And her videos are just super cool because she doesn't shame anybody for wanting to be healthy, for wanting to be thin. She just says love yourself, take care of yourself, don't let these societal things bug you. And so I just think that's really cool. And another thing about Cassie's video is that not about her video, but about the situation surrounding her video that I don't get, is so many body positivity people are obsessed with being overweight. You can love yourself and you can accept yourself, and if you want to be overweight and accept fat positivity, that is your choice. You are free to make that choice. But do not shame people for wanting to change their lifestyle. Do not shame people for wanting to be healthier, for wanting to feel better in their skin, for whatever motivation they have. As long as it's a healthy motivation, don't shame them for it. And especially when it comes to people who are public figures, if you are going, if you're in that group of people in the body positivity sect, and you go and attack people for wanting to be healthier, for wanting to lose weight or have a fitness challenge or whatever, and you say mean and vile things to them, why would they want to be part of your movement? That's my biggest thing with any type of movement. When you go and attack people and you're so rude to them and you are just evil and mean and you say horrible things, that represents your movement badly, and it represents you badly. Why would anybody want to support you? I just don't get it. I think if you're in body positivity and you're really wanting to encourage people to, see where you're coming from and to see your side and maybe join you, you could give a constructive comment. You could try and educate, and I don't know, it's hard for me to give those suggestions because I don't agree with a lot of the body positivity or fat acceptance movements, the things that the people in that group do or say, but I don't think it's inherently a bad group. I just think it's morphed into something bad. So anyway, don't attack people. Like, don't go and attack people for doing things in a healthy way, for doing things that make them feel good, that aren't harming you and aren't harming anybody else. And if you want to change their mind on something, be gentle with them. Try and educate them. Don't come and attack them, because if you attack somebody or you shame them into believing the way that you believe, it's not going to be effective. It's not going to stick. Nobody wants to be shamed into accepting another way of thinking. Nobody wants to be like pushed into seeing things from your side. You can educate them and then they can make their own decision, and if they come to agree with you, that's great, but it's going to be because it's what they truly believe in, not because they were bullied into it. And finally, the last thing we're going to be talking about is Mr. Atheist covering a channel by the name of Mrs. Midwest. And Mrs. Midwest is a woman who, she runs a blog and she has this YouTube channel. It started about 8 months ago, and she talks about classic femininity, but she kind of perceives it as progressive femininity because the standards of like traditional marriage or traditional gender roles have changed. She is a stay-at-home wife. She is a Christian or a believer in God. I'm not exactly sure what religion she is, but she is religious, and she lives in the Midwest. She lives in Michigan, I believe, and she posts videos about, you know, talking like a lady, taking care of yourself, being feminine, just stuff like that. There was a video on attracting a masculine man, and while I think that's funny, people have certain preferences, so I don't know, more power to you, I guess. But Mr. Atheist did a video that she made talking about sex outside of marriage and stuff like that. And for me, I really like Mr. Atheist. I tend to agree with a lot of the things that he says about Christian YouTubers, and not because I hate Christians. I believe in God, and so I think it's interesting to see people who aren't in that group critique people who are being extra and being damaging and being really harmful in the name of God or Jesus. You know, he talks a lot about Paul and Morgan and like Girl Defined, and I don't really like them. And so seeing someone on the outside of that talking about, hey, I used to be a believer, he grew up Mormon, and now I'm not, and this is damaging, so here's why. You know, I think it's really cool, and it's a really great perspective for me to have in thinking about the things that I say to people or just how I present my views. It's really cool to be able to look at that from an outsider perspective and see how a lot of Christian beliefs tend to make people feel. So anyway, I like his content, I watch his content, I tend to agree with a lot of what he says, but with this Mrs. Midwest video, I don't know, I did not agree with him. He said that Mrs. Midwest is worse than Paul and Morgan and worse than Girl Defined, and I just don't see it. I watched that video. I watched a few of her other videos just to kind of get a glimpse into what she's like. People say that she's very robotic. She's very like, and today, you know, she has like the hand movements, but whatever, like she just, I don't know, let her move her hands how she wants to move her hands. I don't know. The point being, he said that she was problematic and that he disagreed with her views, and it's totally okay, you can disagree with people, but I think she's getting a lot of unfair criticism. I know that Jacqueline Glenn did a video about her too, calling her out, and I just don't see it. To me, she is somebody, she's very deliberate in the way that she speaks, and she focuses on what she believes rather than kind of tearing down specific people and calling other people out and trying to say like, well, this person said this and they're wrong. It's more an internal focus, like when it comes to her content. It's about, here's how I live, this is the way I live my life. If you're in my community, if you subscribe to these same beliefs, then, you know, we can connect over this, and this content is for you. She's not trying to preach to the masses. She stays in her lane from what it seems like to me. And so I don't think the level of criticism she gets is fair, because she's not saying that everyone has to subscribe to her own beliefs. She is just talking about the people in her community who live the same lifestyle, who are most likely stay-at-home wives, who don't have jobs. Like, she just talks to her little community. And so I disagree with some of the things that she has said in her videos. I obviously do not live the same lifestyle as her. I'm not hyper feminine and like polished and classy, whatever. So I disagree, but I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with what she does. But just an interesting thing, and that's kind of, I mean, I don't watch all of Mr. Atheist's content, but that was the first video of his that I watched that I was just kind of like, I don't know, I think you missed the mark on it. Whatever, everyone can have their own opinion. This was very long. I'm gonna try and cut it down because this was supposed to be just like a quick, hey, what you may have missed. But that is all I have for kind of some of the big drama that happened this week and a little bit more of the obscure drama that you may have missed. If there is anything else that we missed this week, please definitely leave it in a comment below so that everybody can be caught up before a whole new week of drama starts tomorrow, Monday morning. It's a new week, new opportunities for craziness to pop off. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. And with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Please like or subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me. And for those of you who have already subscribed, thank you. I'm so appreciative of you. Remember to go out there and be the voice of reason in a world full of crazy. Bye.